Hey guys, thank you so much for running on over here to Two Awesome Men. We're gonna do this. We did this a long time ago. We haven't done it in a little bit. This is gonna be our Two Awesome Men's Oscar movie rundown. We do this. We haven't done a lot of this in a little bit, but we do this.
We've only done it once. To be honest.
We've only done this one once. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
And then the other thing. So we have this. And then we're going to have our Awesome Awards, which we haven't had done in a long time. Mm-hmm. And that's basically just we have the Oscar Awards, the nominations, and we pick which ones we think should win, not predictions, just which ones we think should win. And today we're just going to go over all the movies, just talk about them real quick. And just a side note, there's a few that we're not going to talk about. The ones we're not going to talk about are the ones that like it'd be hard to talk about. It's like... It'd be mainly saying like, that's pretty good, or that was a good thing. Like it wouldn't be. It's like mainly just the things are just like these one categories that don't have to do with story or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And those things we're not going to talk about score. We're not going to talk about song. We're not going to talk about makeup and hairstyling, sound or visual effects. Those are the main ones we're not going to talk about. And then we're also the ones we haven't gotten to. We were not able to actually watch was the documentary features and the documentary shorts and the international films. But in our Awesome Awards. We will have every one of those except for the documentary features, documentary shorts, and internationals. So our actual Awesome Awards won't include those, but they will include the other ones that we won't include in this video. Also, this is a big thing. Also, we have these flashcards just so we can just pass them around. We don't want to actually go into full reviews on these things. A lot of these are things we haven't reviewed. Actually, I don't know if we've reviewed any of these, really. Right. The main thing we've done is some of them were in our... Well, we haven't even put out that video yet.
The ranking of the 2020 movies.
Yeah, the ranking of our 2020 movies. So whenever you see that,
we have that film just not posted yet.
Yeah, and so just a warning on that. If you watch that, and you're like, well, why aren't these movies in that? Because this video was filmed after.
Yeah, quite a bit after.
Quite a bit after. So we actually watch more movies since we filmed that video.
Yeah, and just like Marquez said, we're going to try to just speed through these. We're not going to talk about them too much individually.
All right, we're going to start this off. And we are going to do Mank, which to me was virtually flawless. If you are a huge fan of old movies and Citizen Kane, you're going to love this movie. You're going to highly appreciate this movie. Me, myself, I appreciated this movie. Not my kind of movie. The performances in this movie really kept the movie extremely intriguing. I have heard some people say it's boring, but to me the performances kept it from being boring. If you aren't a fan of old movies or you're not a fan of Citizen Kane, you probably won't like this movie. And this movie does a really great job at pulling off old film style.
Nomadland, I can see how people see this movie as boring, but I found it to be very uplifting and enjoyable, just as you see Frances McDormand's character just kind of adapt to this new free lifestyle.
Rather light. Minari, fantastically acted and a fantastically written film. It has a great blend of comedy and drama. A very feel-good movie, even though the lives being portrayed aren't perfect lives, aren't even necessarily great lives. The directing is very good, and I'm really happy for Yeun being nominated, and is a very well-deserved nomination.
That's a nice flick. Promised Young Woman. I thought the first 2/3 of this movie were decent, but the message was very not subtle. But then towards the end of the movie, it went a completely different route than I was expecting, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna like where it was going. But it ended up paying off really huge.
Get off the table, dude.
Hey, I got scared of fading lights last time.
Trial of the Chicago 7. It's an extremely fun movie that has a lot more beneath the surface, a lot funnier than I thought it would be. Amazing editing and directing that displays a sense of urgency. Although it condensed a 6-month trial into 2 hours and never felt rushed.
Thank you for your card. All right. Sound of Metal. Sound of Metal is a pretty moving film. Riz Ahmed does a great job portraying this drummer who's losing his hearing and understandably not taking it very well. It's also great at teaching that disabilities shouldn't be a negative thing and should be embraced. And it does a good job with just the sound, which it's nominated for sound. Because whenever it shows his point of view, it really comes off as vibrations instead of normal sounds. These are very anticlimactic throws.
I know. Judas and the Black Messiah. It's a really amazingly written movie that doesn't want to tell you how to feel about Lakeith Stanfield's character. My mouth is really dry. Even though the movie does kind of portray him in a way that makes him unlikable, it doesn't really tell you, like, don't like him. It's like, it kind of gives you both sides of his story. There is a great blend of fast-paced scenes and slow-paced scenes, beautifully acted by everyone, and the score should have been nominated. I keep talking about that. If it was nominated, that would have definitely won for me.
He's obsessed with it.
The score is amazing.
The Father. This was an absolutely great movie about a man living with dementia, and it really utilizes a lot of filmmaking techniques to really achieve that feeling for the audience. Even going into knowing just what the movie was about, it really disoriented me whenever the first thing that happened that wasn't normal. It really just threw me off. Different actors played the same character at different moments. Certain scenes aren't filmed in order, and just a whole bunch of other things that were used just to put you in that mindset. And it almost has like a kind of horror / suspense feeling just because of how this man is living within his mind. And it's topped by a truly great performance by Anthony Hopkins. I tried. All right.
Another round, an international film, one of the ones we saw. A very deep, dark film about understanding happiness, amazingly acted by everyone, and the direction and cinematography are great.
News of the World, a pretty touching Western movie. It really seemed like it was going to be boring at first, but the developing relationships between the characters really kept it intriguing.
Yeah. One Night in Miami, phenomenal screenplay. You can tell it was a play because the only thing to keep you intrigued was the dialogue, and it does that job very well. Leslie Odom Jr. does really well as the rest of the cast, having to display a variety of complex emotions. Kingsley Ben-Adir, the guy who played Malcolm X, he definitely should have been nominated for Best Actor.
That was pretty perfect.
Yeah, that was pretty much, yeah.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, just a truly fantastic performance by Chadwick Boseman. I really hate seeing people say that he's only going to win Best Actor because he passed away, because it truly was a really great performance by him. I really feel like anybody who says that hasn't actually seen the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's also based on a play like One Night in Miami, and it really, just the use of very few sets and locations really adds to the gravity of the situation and just the stressfulness of the story.
United States versus Billie Holiday. Audra Day, her acting was really good, very great. It was one of the only good things about the movie. It seemed to be like a movie made by a History Channel. There was no effort put into any lighting, cinematography, or framing, and most of the other actors weren't that great as well.
Pieces of a Woman, a heart-wrenching movie that starts off with a 30-minute scene of a woman giving birth that's filled with long takes, and the rest of the movie is just an emotional journey of this woman who suffers a horrific loss, and Vanessa Kirby really plays that emotion really perfectly.
Borat's subsequent movie film. It's extremely funny. It's really cool how the film adapted to the pandemic because it happened in the middle of filming. Sacha Baron Cohen went to hilarious length for some of the scenes. Especially there was one scene whenever he actually in real life spent 5 days in character with some conservative conspiracy theorists who pretty much bought that he was the character he was the whole time.
The White Tiger. This movie is pretty much the Parasite of this year, with a splash of Wolf of Wall Street. I'm honestly surprised that this movie wasn't nominated for a lot more things this year. It really pulls off social commentary over class relations really well, while having a compelling story about a guy trying to break out of the mentality of a servant.
Onward, not one of my favorite Pixar movies, but definitely extremely enjoyable, and the end of the movie was my favorite part of the whole movie. The end was actually pretty great.
Soul. This was honestly one of the funniest Pixar movies I've seen, just in my opinion, and it really explored the purpose of one's life really cleverly. However, I really feel like the emotional beats didn't really hit me as hard as much as they wanted it to. But it was still a really good movie and an absolutely mind-blowing animation. It's crazy the level that Pixar has gone to.
Over, you threw it on the TV. Over the Moon. It's a very important animated film about dealing with grief and life changes. Very emotional. The character voiced by Yuh-Jung, I thought he was going to get annoying, but he doesn't really get annoying. At the very beginning, he kind of gets close to it, but never actually fully gets annoying. The only part I didn't like about this movie was there's a scene where they're playing ping pong. I didn't like the movie. I didn't like that scene. I didn't like the song. It felt forced, and it never really felt like it did anything in the story.
Wolf Walkers. This was made by the same studio who made The Breadwinner, and this movie and Over the Moon is just perfect examples of why I love the Oscars most of the time. Because while I don't agree with them 100% of the time, they really shed light on movies that really wouldn't get that much attention without it, because especially with these two movies, since they aren't Disney Pixar movies. But just Wolf Walker is a really great movie. The theme of control and being trapped in a box really lends to this movie being just so great and just so empowering. Oh, I forgot to throw
a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. The only reason why this movie was nominated was probably because it was claymation. Otherwise, I really didn't think it was that good of a movie. Very boring, actually. Yeah.
Hillbilly Elegy. This movie got a lot of unneeded hate, in my opinion, because as a movie just on its own, I feel like it's a really solid movie. I'm not gonna act like it's the best movie I've seen. It does have its cliche moments, and the two actors who play the main character, the younger version and the adult version, weren't the best actors. But Glenn Close gives a amazing performance, as well as Amy Adams, who I really think should have been nominated as well.
Yeah.
And it's just a pretty intriguing story about this guy who was raised by an abusive mother and has to confront that past again as an adult.
Nice. Last card. Well, actually, this card's been sitting on the table the whole video.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, there it is. That's our Oscar movie rundown. I feel like this video will be quick. I don't know how it would be quick, and so hopefully you enjoy that. Yeah, and just get ready because your mind's gonna get blown on Sunday.
It's not gonna be that great. I can assure you that.
Where we have our awesome. You gotta hype it up, man.
The way we are, it's probably not even gonna be uploaded until like a few minutes before the Oscars airs.
Probably so. You can watch it and then directly go to the channel.
Or you can watch it instead of the Oscars.
Yeah, exactly. Because most people probably don't want to watch the Oscars. So yeah, watch it instead of the Oscars. So tell all your friends about it. All the views that are going to the Oscars need to go to us. That's all we're saying. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, you can like, share, and subscribe. Also comment and let us know what you thought about this video, how you felt about these movies. What are your Oscar predictions? Or maybe not even predictions. I don't even care about predictions. What are your Oscar picks? If you were the one deciding, what would you decide on?
Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Two Awesome Men.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be yelling at our people.
Yeah, just berating them.
Tell us.
Yeah. God.
And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see us later. All these cards on the floor. Somebody needs to pick those up.